Hey everyone, thank you for being here. Like Michelle said, I'm in Colombia right now, live from the city of Eternal Spring, which is also known as Medellin. It's been, actually Medellin is probably my favorite city in Colombia. The public transportation system is fantastic. I'm sorry, I just love Colombia. I'm gonna move on to Bali right now. We could talk about Colombia. Michelle, I really think that the Colombia travel talk would probably be an hour and a half. There's a lot to talk about. So,
okay, all right.
Just to do my quick intro, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris McCormack. My favorite title in the whole world is Uncle Chris. I got 2 nephews and a new niece. Her name is Tegan. She's about November, 6 months, 5 months old. She's great. As you know, I'm a traveler all over the world, states, international, photographer, humanitarian. I started a Cuba baseball foundation after I went to Cuba and got a lot of equipment donations, financial donations, and I brought back so much baseball stuff to Cuba. Literally gave it out to the entire island from the west coast to the east coast. It was a pain to drag 6 bags of baseball equipment in Cuba across the whole country, but it was totally worth it. Public speaker, so I go around to different organizations in New Jersey, or really actually all over the world in the States, and talk about my travels, teach people how to do it, how they can do it. And that's actually, I love doing it. I love talking about my travels and especially sharing my experiences with you guys. I'm going to put this in the chat a little bit later, but my website is www.thechrismccormack.net. And like the same thing as always, like you guys know, if you have any comments, questions, or stories you'd like to share, you can write it in the chat box, or you can just blurt it right in. Don't worry about it. No big deal. I will not be offended by it. So let me just switch it over to the share. Stop share. Just gonna switch it over. I made this video after I went to Bali. So I've been to Bali 3 times, 2014, 2016, and 2018. I went there. So definitely amazing island. It's actually not even a country. Bali is a part of Indonesia. For those of you who don't know that, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so right now I'm just gonna play this video. It's about a 3-minute video, so check it out.
Come on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
that is a little bit of taste visually of my experience in Bali. It's a really magical place, actually. Oh, whoops. Let me just X out of that. And I'm getting really good at this Zoom stuff, by the way, sharing screens and hitting back and forth, learning a lot. Thanks, everybody. All right. So yeah, Bali is an island that's part of Indonesia, and it's actually made up of 17,000 islands. I mean, I don't know how they come up with that number. It's probably more, it might be less. If they're off by a couple thousand, then they still have about 14,000 islands. And because of how many islands they have and the amount of population in Indonesia, it's actually like the 5th or 4th largest population in the world. They have 270 million people stretched across these islands. So the capital of Indonesia is Jakarta. It's right here. I actually have a friend from Jakarta. He says the traffic there is a nightmare. Looking forward to going there. And Bali is this little, it's this little island right here off of the main island of, not the main island, but the Java island. So today we're going to be talking about not just Bali, but some of the surrounding islands as well that I went to. These are called the Gili Islands. We'll be talking about them. You saw that in the video with the blue waters and the boat. Really cool places, excuse me. And we were talking about Bali. Wasn't able to hit everything in Bali because, I mean, unfortunately, the traffic is very bad there. So you really got to, pick and choose what you want to be doing there. But today we're going to be going to a place called Ubud. I climbed a volcano in Bali's called Mount Agung. That was really something. And we're going to be talking about some of the places that maybe you should stay away from when you go to Bali, like Kuta Beach. So, like I said, Jakarta, 17,000 islands approximately. I really don't know how you come up with that number. What's considered an island? How big is it? How small is it? Don't know. Anyway, they also is a person there called Java Man. And oh wait, I'm sorry. Before I do this, let me just get the chat box up in case anyone has a question. I'll see it. All right, thank you. So Java Man is a human fossil remains that was found on the island of Java. So that's why they call him Java Man. He is a direct ancestor of us modern day humans. And they claim that he's about 700,000 to 1 million years old, which that's pretty old. The fact that, he was even still intact enough to even come up with this is amazing. But yeah, scientists claim that we are direct ancestors to the Java Man. So maybe if one of us could be related to him. Not sure if you want to check ancestry.com or your heritage family tree. You might be able to track that back. It'd be a little difficult. But, you might not have much to do because the whole COVID thing. So start cracking on that. The currency in Bali is called the Indonesian rupiah, not to be confused with the Indian rupee from India. Their currency is extremely weak compared to the dollar. So for $1 US, you get 14,420 Indonesian rupiahs, which is quite a lot of money. So for example, to put that in context for you, okay, what can I get with that? A cheap meal for 2 people. So we're talking rice, eggs, vegetables, maybe a little bit of meat, not much. That comes out to about 50,000 Indonesian rupiahs. So do the math quickly. It's about $3.50 for a nice lunch for you and your spouse, or maybe you're backpacking and you want to have 2 lunches because you're starving, haven't eaten in a while. This was the first taste for me, seeing this money and seeing 20,000 on it, or seeing 100,000 rupiahs. That was pretty cool to see. And also, I kind of like this idea. I think maybe in the US we should adopt this. I've noticed that in a lot of other countries, their currencies are different colors. It's very easy when you're looking in your wallet. You just see the color, boom, whip it out, done. Pay the guy, pay the woman, get your change. I really like that a lot. So yeah, the Indonesian rupiah very weak, but I guess that's good for Americans and or anyone traveling there, and bad for the Indonesians. It's actually, I don't understand how it's possible, because Bali has been such a hotspot since, you know, the 80s. I mean, we're talking 40 years of being a major tourist hotspot. It's really fascinating to me how they're, you know, the prices of Bali haven't increased. I don't know why, or I don't know how that's even possible, because it is such a touristy hotspot. So again, good for us. It's all good. Oops. So there's this thing that every traveler loves to hear. It's 3 words. It's visa on arrival. We love to hear visa on arrival. And the reason is because you don't have to schedule anything. You don't have to ask anybody, hey, or tell anyone, hey, I'm coming to your country for X amount of days or X amount of months. Visa on arrival means you literally just get on a plane, go to the country, and you get your visa on arrival. It is my favorite, one of my favorite 3 words I've ever heard in my life. Now, my first time there in 2014, the visa on arrival was $60 for 30 days. However, I'm not sure why they changed it, but there is no more fee anymore to go to Bali. So there still is a visa on arrival. It's just that it's free. So that's fantastic. And I actually remember having a problem with paying my visa on arrival when I went in 2014, because my currency, my American dollars, were from 2008. So they were considered too old to use in 2014 at the time. So a 6-year-old $100 bill was considered too old to use at the airport. Maybe that had, I'm not really sure why they don't have a fee anymore. But hey, it's cool with me. It's cool. It's good for us. So like I said, we're going to be talking about Bali, Ubud, the Gili Islands. I actually did stop in this island of Lombok. However, wasn't comfortable enough in talking to you about it because I was only there for about 2 days and didn't really do much. So didn't really have much to offer, except the 2 days I was there was absolutely beautiful. So if you ever find yourself in the Indonesian islands and you want to check out an island, I would definitely recommend Lombok, just for the nature. Anything other than that, I'm really not too sure. So our first stop today is going to be in Ubud, which is really in the heart of the island of Bali. And it's considered the art capital and the culture capital of Bali. Now, it is touristy. However, you know, there are places in the world that are just, they are touristy because they're so great. They're so amazing that we have to go check it out. Not unfortunately that we have to go see it, but unfortunately that it's very touristy. However, it's a really, really cool place to find yourself. The energy there's, I really can't describe the energy of Bali in general, but however, Ubud, because you find yourself in the rice paddies, the rice terraces, a lot of coffee plantations. The people are just so nice in Bali. They really are. And unfortunately, because Ubud is so far away from everything. So for example, we were staying in Kuta Beach at the time, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone to stay there. It's kind of like seaside now. It's just out of control. Not the greatest people you'll meet there. But so we were staying in Kuta at the time. And to get from here to there, I think it's on paper, it's about an hour and a half, but it took us about 4 hours to get there just because the traffic is terrible and the roads aren't really created enough to handle the amount of volume of cars. And because, you know, you got horses in the road, you got pigs, chickens, just everything, and dump trucks going uphill. You just, you know, so when you go to places like this, you really have to budget in traffic time, unfortunately, or just leave super early. So in Ubud, and not just in Ubud, but in many, many places in Ubud, in Bali, they have Hindu temples. So as a whole, Indonesia is actually, a majority of Indonesia is a Muslim population. However, Bali is about 85%. Bali is roughly 85% Hindu religion. And I've found that a lot of Balinese people many people that I've come across in my life who are Hindu are just so nice, very gentle people, you know, not really looking to get over on you or take advantage of you. Very genuine, compassionate, soft people. However, so for these temples, in Bali, there's only 20,000 temples that you can go to. Most of them are free. And the reason why there's 20,000, again, approximately 20,000, you know, there could be more, it could be less. The reason why there's 20,000 temples in Bali is because each town, each community, they have to have 3 temples that honor 3 different gods. So these gods, excuse me, you know what? I'm going to talk about this, the infrastructure of the temple and the designs and everything like that first. So this was my first time at a Hindu temple, and I don't know if it, you know, is just a whole collectiveness of Bali or just the entire aurora of being there. The energy there is very, very different. And I noticed that from the second I got there when I was 20 years old and you know, was just starting my travel career. I mean, you look at these sculptures that they were created 1,000 years ago, 1,200 years ago. And this particular temple right here is 1,000 years old. So one of the 3 temples is called a Pura Puse, so PR Puse temple. And this one honors the god of Brahma. This is where the god of Brahma lives. And it's a lot of rituals related that take place in this temple are related to the creation of earth, of life, of people, of just everything that we need to live with. And actually, it's really, I love how
Chris, you're frozen. Can you hear me, Chris? You're frozen. Is anybody else experiencing a frozen screen, or is it just me?
Yes, no.
Yes, still frozen.
Yeah. One of the, let me see if he can get a chat. It's probably his Wi-Fi or his internet there. Hold on. Okay. All right, he must have gotten bumped off. He got bumped off.
I just texted him, so hopefully
Okay.
he will
Yeah,
get back
He's
on.
gonna have to just log back on.
Yeah.
One of the pitfalls of travel is inconsistent Wi-Fi. Hey, but then again, I have inconsistent Wi-Fi here at Edgewood, so it happens. Has anybody out there been to Bali?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. I like that. I like that. That's great.
When I looked at the map, I've been to Darwin, Australia, but look how close I was. I just never went there. I just know Australians go to Bali for
I'll put the
travel.
buzz on.
I wonder how far that is.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that kind of map.
No, but I wonder how long of a trip that is from
Australia.
Yeah, like, I mean, is it like for us, because Australia is so big, but is it, you know, it's not like a Californian going to Hawaii?
It could be. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I just know a lot of them. I mean, when we were there, you know, we had some friends there.
Yeah, like we go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Michelle, this is Liz. I'm actually Chris's mom.
Oh.
He when he studied abroad in his fall year of college in the fall, he the spring break was actually their trip to Bali. So I think it was only a few hour, if that, flight. So that was what they considered their spring break.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And that was part of the study abroad experience.
Oh, and where did he go to school?
Oh boy.
Mom, you paid for it.
Oh boy, I sure did. Let me think. It started with an L. and it was in,
How many kids do you have, Liz?
I have 2
Oh, okay. I was
and
going,
3
oh,
grandchildren.
I can't keep up with them all.
And 3 grandchildren. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It was starts with an L. Oh my gosh. Christopher will remember. I honestly
Okay.
don't remember.
In America?
No. This was in Australia. That's why I'm not remembering. He went to school in.
Hey, sorry about that. I'm back.
Your mom is entertaining us.
Oh
So
my, she's good at that.
she just told some stories about you that are going to be so embarrassing. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So listen to this. Oh, I'm sorry. So listen to this. The one day that I'm in this hostel, they're doing work.
charge? I don't know.
Oh, geez.
They're
What can you
doing
do?
work on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, of course. The one day that I have to do this.
Oh boy.
That's
Did
okay.
you just pay him off to not do it right now?
Well, no, he said that there's another Wi-Fi network that I'm hopping onto. So it's
Okay. Okay.
all, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so do we get to find out what school he went to before we go on?
Yeah. Where did you go to school, Chris? Where did you go to college? Where?
Coastal Carolina University.
Right.
A little bit about the one in Australia.
Australia.
Oh, I went to oh geez.
Okay.
Is it like Latrobe or something?
Latrobe University.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you.
It was about 20 minutes outside of Melbourne.
Okay.
Geez, so sorry about that, everyone. My goodness. Thanks for everybody for your patience and the little bumps and bruises along the way. This is what traveling is all about. You got to go on the fly and figure it out as you do it. So
We have nowhere to go, so it's fun.
that's a good point. So anyway, as I was saying, the aspect of these sculptures and these carvings is that this is over 1,000 years old, and these people are carving stone. I mean, this isn't wood, or wood is still impressive, but they're carving stone, and I truly don't know how. I mean, I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi, and these people are building sculptures out of, rock. And so as I was saying, a lot of these sculptures look menacing or intimidating is because they want to scare away the evil spirits outside of the temple. So there's the set of 3 temples that I was telling you about before is called the trifecta, or the hat trick, if I may. They're called the Kayangin Taiga. I apologize for the mispronunciation, but that is called that's like the trifecta of the 3 temples, and each temple honors a different god. So the one that I just showed you, Pura Puse, was Brahma. He is related to the rituals of the creation of the world of life. The second one is Pura Disa, which honors the god Vishnu and is about prosperity and preservation. And then the final 3 is Shiva, which is called the temple is called Pura Delem. And you'll find this temple closer to cemeteries, and a lot of cremations take place around this temple. Now, I am not educated enough to tell you the difference between Indian Hinduism or Balinese Hinduism. I think that would probably be a whole another travel talk we can do, because dives pretty deep, I'm sure. But so that's some of the temples. Another thing that you can do in Ubud is check out the coffee plantations. Bali is known for having some of the best coffee in the world, and I was able to try a whole sample of it. It was part of the tour that we did, which was nice, so I don't know if you can read it down here, but it says, Bali coffee, which is very sweet. It's a different type of coffee compared to Colombia, which Colombia is kind of like way stronger, more chocolatey. It's not sweet. Colombia coffee is fantastic. However, right now we're in Bali. As you can see, I'm really excited to talk about Colombia with you guys, but I don't know if any of you know this, but Bali, another reason why Bali is considered to have the best coffee in the world is because of this little cat right here, this cat-like animal. Now, it's not a cat, but it's some sort of nocturnal mammal, and they call it the Asian palm civet. And the reason why this animal is important, and with talking about coffee in Bali, is because this animal, so the farmers, coffee farmers, they will allow this animal to come into their plantation to eat the coffee beans. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why, this animal is intelligent enough to determine which coffee beans are the best out of all of the coffee beans. So this rodent, if I may, this animal will eat the coffee beans. However, when they eat the coffee beans, their digestion system doesn't break down the coffee bean. So the coffee bean, after it is pooped out, is still intact. And the reason why this is important is because the digestive system the enzymes in it will take out the bitterness of the bean. And because of this process, this is known as the Kopi Luwak. That's the name of the coffee. It's the most expensive coffee in the world. A cup of coffee is $65, and 2 pounds of this coffee is $1,000 because of this process. Now, unfortunately, as I'm sure you may probably already assumed, and it's okay to assume this, I did not have the budget to even sample a $65 cup of coffee. However, I'm sure that it was phenomenal. And it was cool to see. I mean, I don't know how people figure this stuff out. I really don't, but it's really something. Another part of Ubud is checking out the Rice Terraces, which I think are anywhere in the world. They're just so cool to see how farmers or people or society, a community, will find a way to just cultivate crops. And these pictures don't really do it justice to show you the beauty of these rice paddies, but it's very cool. And as you can see, these little trails right here, that's the walking part. Those are the only trails in the whole thing. And these trails can be very steep when you are walking up, but even more dangerous when you're walking down. Personally, in my experience, when I'm on a hike, I do not like to go. I prefer to walk uphill instead of downhill, preferably because my knees don't appreciate going downhill for that long, which I'm going to talk about right now with Mount Agung, which is, there's two physical activities in my life that are the hardest things I've ever done, equally but different. One was the half marathon that I ran last year in Brooklyn with my girlfriend. That was daunting, but equally as hard, but differently, a different beast, was climbing Mount Agung. And this picture can describe how I was feeling coming up Mount Agung. So we left Kuta Beach, which is down on the coast, which is where I recommend you don't go. And we left around midnight from we left at around 10 o'clock, 9:30 from our villa that we were renting at the time. And took us about 2.5 hours to get there, even at nighttime. So we get there and we start our descent of Mount Agung at midnight to catch the sunrise at the top of the summit of the mountain, which is 9,944 feet tall. And I can certainly tell you that I felt every single foot of that trek. It was extremely difficult. And actually, so in Balinese, their actual name of Mount Agung is Gunung Agung. And so Gunung means mountain, mount, and Agung means big. So the name of the mountain in English is Big Mountain. And I can totally assure you that this was a big mountain, even though it was under 10,000 feet. So it took us about 7 hours up to get up the mountain. And that was with a couple breaks. We had one long break of about 45 minutes. And to be honest, the only thing that I truly remember as if it was yesterday was how cold I was from the wind, because I was sweating on my back. So I'm sweating, and then my backpack is touching my shirt, and it's like the wind was just so ferocious up there. And we weren't told at the time to bring change of clothes once you get to the top. I mean, I've never climbed a mountain before, so I didn't know that, but I do know that for the next time. However, I don't think my backpack was adequate enough. Anyway, this was the final trek to the summit. So I'm actually taking a picture from the top. And as you can see, this trail right here is very thin, and the wind had to have been 70 miles per hour up there. It was ridiculous how windy it was. So definitely, and they actually have had people fall off the cliff, off of the volcano because of the wind or losing their footing. Now they didn't fall into the volcano, as you can see. There's a different part that is a volcano, but you know, you go off this trail here, you're pretty doomed. And to see the sunset at, the sunrise at just below 10,000 feet after hiking the whole thing is an extremely different experience from seeing sunrise when you're on an airplane, because you just think about the entire journey of getting to that. I mean, I remember thinking that there were so many times I was like, oh my gosh, we made it. This is the top. And then completely wrong. We still had another 2 hours to go. Those are called false summits, and those are real. And as you can see in the background here, there's another volcano over here. It's called Mount Rinjani. That's close to the Gili Islands. So you can also climb that mountain. I've heard it's a little more treacherous, and I think that's a couple of days of a hike. You can't just do that in a day. So when we did Mount Agung, it was 7 hours up, 8 hours down, and the 8 hours down was so brutal. I mean, that was the worst part of the whole thing, honestly. We were so sore after, and because I mean, okay, when you're climbing uphill, you're like, okay, we're gonna get to the top. We're gonna get to the top. 7 hours to go, 6 hours to go, 5 hours to go, and then you get to the top, and you're like, okay, well, I came here for what I wanted to see, and now I'm done. Like, the mind is very powerful. Anyway, the way down was so horrible, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, but it was definitely worth it. These were our guides for the trek. So this guy right here in the middle, I think he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes on the way up, and I think he smoked another one on the way down, which was, I don't know how he did that. It's really impressive. And the other 3 were his guides in training. I honestly don't remember any of them. I just remember this guy because we were going up like 90-degree angles at one point, and he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette. I was like, wow, you're a G. You are a boss, man. I don't know how you're doing this right now. But I guess when you climb a mountain 3 times a week for 20 years, your lungs probably handle that. So, and as you can see, sunrise right here, just really, really cool. I remember thinking like, wow, we've been up here for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and now we have to go down, but we were actually up there for an hour and a half, and that was so fast. And I was like, oh, dang it, now we have to come back down. So, here we go. This is the map I wanted to show you. So we started at Kuta Beach, and then we drove to Mount Agung. We didn't stop in Ubud. We took the more direct route, but that's where Mount Agung is on the map, on the island of Bali. And they actually erupted in 2019, which was pretty cool. I don't believe nobody got hurt. It wasn't like an epic eruption. However, and also, I don't know if anyone saw, but there was a volcano eruption in Iceland. It was the first time it's exploded in 6,000 years. So that was pretty cool. Now, this next part, I never experienced it myself. We got a question here. Jennifer Markham, thanks for being here, Jennifer. Appreciate you. And your question is, how much photo equipment did you take up the mountains? Weight, question mark. So at this time, I didn't actually have a professional DSLR camera. I still had at the time, it was like, a really good cell phone that took nice pictures. And then I had a little kind of pocket camcorder that I used to make a video, chop it up with. So the weight wasn't really that much for photo equipment. Now I have a lot of weight, probably about 12 pounds, maybe 15 pounds of photo equipment that I take with me everywhere. So the shoulders are looking good. But so yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate or grateful that at the time I didn't have photo equipment, because that was so difficult. I can't even describe it to you. My body was just in so much pain. So yeah, not that much weight. I think the water probably was way heavier. However, so this is an event in Bali that I have not experienced, but I thought it was worth noting. It's called Nyepi, and Nyepi is in English called the Day of Silence. So basically, this marks the Balinese Hindu New Year, and the day is never the same. Like for us, New Year's Day is January 1st every year. For them, it varies. So this year it was March 14th. Sometimes it's March 21st. Sometimes it's March 1st. Sometimes it's March 3rd. So not too sure why they're on different days. However, on Niepi, also known as the Day of Silence, no one's allowed to go outside. You can't eat anything. You can't use electricity. You can't cook anything. You can't start a fire. So maybe it's because the night before everyone's out partying until 6 a.m. So maybe everyone's just recovering the next day. Maybe that's why. But so the whole island of Bali will shut down for the entire day. So that includes government buildings, the airport shuts down, and actually telecommunication companies will turn off the Wi-Fi, disconnect the TVs. You can't do anything. And it's used for a day of reflection to think about how you would like to approach the new year of the Balinese Hindu New Year. And in their calendar right now, so right now according to our calendar, we're in the year 2021. In the Balinese Hindu calendar, they are currently in the year 1943. So if you ever like to travel back in time, go to 1943 or 1944, you can just go to Bali and practice Hinduism for a couple of days and take a trip back in time. So like I said, I never experienced that, but I thought it was pretty cool and noteworthy to mention it. Now, one thing that I do love about Bali is the people. I mean, they are just so friendly, so kind. These are people I have no idea who they even are. And they just, they're smiling with me and, acting as if we've known each other for a really long time. Actually in this presentation, you've seen many different stages and phases of Chris McCormack, with my long hair, my short hair. Now I have a beard, my hair's long, I'm traveling. So this was when I first started traveling, 20 years old right here. And what a journey it's been. So these are the people they're just so, like I said, they're friendly, they're kind, they want to help you. They want to make sure that you're having a good time on their island, but first and foremost in their country. This guy right here, he put up a front like he was tough, but I broke it down. We got a picture out of him. This woman up here, her name is Mama Katet. At least that's what her hat said. And she offers foot massages on the beach. So I told her, I went to Bali for 10 days. This was in 2016. I told her that she asked me like on the first day, hey, can you do like a foot massage? I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay right now. But I told her on my last day, I'll get one. So this is right before the foot massage. She's a very nice lady. Does not speak a word of English, by the way, but we got along great. This woman is, sorry about the plane flying over here. This woman right here is very generous. This is actually on my last night in Bali before I went off to the Philippines, my trip 2016, and I had no money left, and she is a food vendor, and she actually gave me a carton of her food, which will be approaching very soon. She's just, like I said, generous, compassionate, kind. It was just toward the end of her day, so maybe she had a good day financially. She was able to spare some food, or maybe just because she had a kid or sons, daughters, whatever. This is an interesting story right here. So I was walking to the beach with 2 people just to check it out. And this is in Kuta Beach, by the way. And unfortunately, this is a tangent of this story, but when we were on the beach, we saw 2 tourists who were in the ocean. And when they came back, all their stuff got stolen from them. Passports, cell phones, wallets. Now, I'm not sure why you would bring all that to the beach at nighttime. That wasn't very smart of them, but felt bad for them because, geez, losing your passport in another country, I don't even want to know what that feels like. Actually, you could ask my girlfriend. She's done it before. Maybe we can get her on here pretty soon. So anyway, as I'm walking back, these people are just sitting on the side of the road, and I could talk to anyone really. I could talk to a tree if I had to. So strike up conversation with them. Some of them spoke English, and then next thing I know, it broke out. We're drinking alcohol, and the next thing I know, it broke out into a flour powder fight, and everyone on the street has got powder on them. So that's a cool memory right there. And this guy right here, it's really cool how you could meet somebody from a completely different part of the world and, you know, have such a close connection with them and really consider them your brother. His name is Alex. He's from Sumatra. And we hit it off really well. He's a really good person, just, you know, trying to work hard, doesn't beg, doesn't, you know, ask for anything. And very nice guy. And it was cool. Like I said, it's cool to just establish relationships from all over the world, especially with people from Bali. I mean, Balinese people, you know, though they're very nice. He's actually from Sumatra, so he's not Balinese, but that's my favorite part of travel, is meeting people, connecting with them, and, you know, establishing a relationship that will last longer than, you know, the trip. I actually, when I was working on this presentation a couple weeks ago, I reached out to him and was talking to him. He actually he got married. He moved to Australia. He just had a baby, so I'm really happy for him. He's a great guy. Now, Michelle, here's your cuisine tab right here. You know, it's funny. I never really realized how much I never took pictures of my food until I started doing programs with you guys. And I'm really sorry, Michelle, but the next couple of travel talks, I'll definitely have some food in there. This is that carton of food that woman gave me on the beach at the end of my trip. And this is really, you know, this is kind of it. This is the kind of Balinese food summed up right here. You got noodles, egg is an egg with everything you have in Bali. You could have a salad. It comes with a hard-boiled egg, cucumbers, and a lot of a big thing in Balinese cuisine is skewers. So it could be chicken, goat, beef, pork. They're big on skewers. So right now we're going to move on to the Gili Islands of Indonesia. Really cool spots. Again, they're very touristy now just because of social media, the internet, people showing and sharing their experiences, especially in Bali. I mean, like I said, Bali, since the 80s, has been such a hotspot for tourism. I really don't understand how it's not more expensive. I mean, I like it, but I just don't get it. Anyway, so you can take a boat you can only take a boat to the Gili Islands. And these are the Gili Islands right here. So there's three of them: Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno, and Gili Air. These three islands are really fairly recently new. They used to be basically just a place where fishermen coming back from a trip would stop here just to kind of touch land for a couple of days, regain their calibration, or maybe just take a break from the ocean. And also, Gili Trawangan used to be a Japanese military base and also a prisoner of war camp. Now, what I find really interesting about these islands is that there are no motors allowed anywhere on the island. No cars, no trucks, not even scooters. You can just, I mean, if it's an electric, you can have an electric bike or electric scooter, but there's no motors allowed. So the only way to get around is by foot, horse, bicycle. And I think that's really cool. And also because it's so tiny that there would just be cars everywhere. So that's nice that they do that. Now, unfortunately, for I looked this up when I was working on this presentation, and it says that the boat tickets are now $40 one way to these islands. And I really don't remember it being that expensive, honestly. Now, again, that was in 2006, so we're talking 5 years ago now. Things can change very fastly in the travel industry, especially when you have the demand to, you know, pay $40 for, when you have so many amount of people who are willing to pay $40 for a bus or bus ride, boat ride, whatever ride. Again, because of the tourism hotspot there, it's unfortunate, but hey, that's the way it goes. So Gili Trawangan is more of the party island. Gili Meno is kind of like the middle stepchild, kind of gets skipped over, and then Gili Air is a really relaxing one, where, you know, you're just trying to wind down, not party or be around that environment. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go scuba diving here. I wasn't a scuba diver yet when I had gone to these islands, but there is a lot of reefs, a lot of coral, and so many shipwrecks that you can go diving into. It's really interesting. I remember seeing this for the first time, this picture right here, and thinking to myself like, oh geez, this is it right here. I mean, I made it. This is the bluest water I've ever seen, and we got mountains, boats. The water was perfect temperature. So we actually stayed, I think I stayed here for about 8 to 10 days and enjoyed every second of it. Unfortunately, I don't remember how much I was paying per night, but it couldn't have been more than $10 a night because that's just not in my budget. So, and I remember seeing these boats right here. And the reason why they have these arms extended out in the boat is because that balances the boat out, which is interesting. I've never seen that before in my life. And a lot of these boats will be snorkel tours, scuba diving tours, fishing tours, people who just want to go on a boat. And unfortunately, I don't know why, but when I go scuba diving, I get like this really crazy, or not scuba diving, I'm sorry, when I go snorkeling, I get this really crazy pressure in my sinuses. So I was in a lot of pain in this picture right here. I'm not sure why. Maybe I got to get something checked out for my sinuses, but like right here, I was in pain. I was in some serious pain there, but it was cool. It was fine. It was not, no big deal. This is the hostel that I was staying at, and you saw it in the video for the when we were playing volleyball outside. The only problem with this hostel was that it was so far away from everything, but maybe that's why it was so cheap. Now I remember it was very cheap. It was like $5 a night because it was so cheap, or it was so far away from everything. So that was a little unfortunate. But besides that, it was cool. They actually let us cook our own food with their material. So we were eating so much like noodles and eggs. It was awesome. Unfortunately, the Gili Islands, there was an earthquake that happened and a lot of the infrastructure got wiped out. It was pretty recently, I believe. I can't remember the exact year. I'll find out for you. But so a lot of people are, rebuilding or trying to build up. And it's experiences like this. I always come back to this in anytime I talk about traveling and seeing these things, is that to be able to visualize or see people, live like this, it's very humbling, especially from where we come from. We complain about the tiny things that maybe don't really affect us in the long run. However, it's very humbling to go and see these types of places. And I actually remember thinking this was the first time when I went to Bali. This was the first time I really thought, like, wow, I'm so lucky to be where I come from, and to have the childhood that I had. To just you look in your closet full of clothes, like, oh, I don't even know what I'm gonna wear today. It's very humbling. So today we talked about the Java man, talked about the Indonesian rupiah and how weak it is, but also how that benefits travelers who are going there. The rice paddies and terraces of Bali and Ubud. We had a nice internet connection failure there. That was a nice test for everyone. Thank you again for everyone for your patience with that. Climbing Mount Agung, which is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Challenging. That was a challenge. Up to the marathon last year, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life without it physically. The people of Indonesia, including my friend Alex, he is such a great guy. Checking out the Gili Islands and all there is to do there. I would recommend going to Bali. However, you really got to do your research on places to stay and what time of the year to go, because it is such a hot spot there. There are so many people there. And the last time I was there, 2016, I'm sorry, it was in Kuta Beach, which is kind of the place I would not recommend for you to go. It was sad to see how much it had deteriorated from, I was in the ocean, I'm swimming next to garbage. That's not cool. That's not something that I want to be doing. And I felt bad for the area there, especially for the people, like the locals. You go to the beach and you're swimming with like plastic cups next to you or beer cans. I mean, that's not cool. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. Oh, we got a question from Karen. One sec. Karen, thank you for your question. Karen's question is, what kind of government do they have? You know, I'm not too sure. I think they have a king. I will find out for you though, and I will definitely. I'll find out for you, Karen. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the question. Real quick before we end, I just want to show you a video that I've created for the Columbia Travel Talk that we'll be having in June. Michelle and I will iron out the details for you. 1 second, let me get this up. Thank you everybody for your patience today with the internet connection. That was a nice test. I mean, if that doesn't sum up traveling right there in 10 minutes, I don't know what does. So, okay, here's my experience in Colombia so far. Unfortunately, I had to leave out some things just because, I mean, there's so much to do. And I did so much that I could have made like a 7-minute video. So this is only about 1.5 minutes. Amazing experience, my time here in Colombia. I've appreciated every single second, from the dunes to the jungles, the waterfalls, the beaches, city life, small town life. Really looking forward to sharing all of this with you and all the content, video, photos, and stories. Sweet. I really love what I do, and I really appreciate everyone being here, taking the time out of your day. Even if you have nothing to do, it still takes the effort to get here, log on, deal with the technological problems, and really grateful for everyone for taking time out of the day to come hear me speak about Bali. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to Colombia. I have a lot to talk about. I mean, it's going to be probably 1.5 hours. There's a lot to hit. So, Michelle, thank you for letting me be here today.
Anybody have any questions for Chris about Bali?
I got to find out about the government, which I will.
Yeah, I'm wondering, just in terms of, I always wonder, like, cost, how was the accommodations like in terms of cost? Was same, like
in Bali?
In Bali, like inexpensive?
Definitely, without a doubt. I mean,
for your money?
Yeah, Asia is without a doubt, in my travel so far, because I haven't really hit Africa in terms of, like Zimbabwe, Tanzania. So I can't speak about Africa as a continent, but for me, Asia has been without a doubt the cheapest accommodation prices so far. I mean, this is a little bit of a tangent, but in Cambodia, I was staying in a hostel that was $1 a night. And it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, it certainly wasn't the Hilton, but it also wasn't a dump either. So I definitely appreciated that part. It was really cool.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that it's more of a plant-based diet there. I mean, in Bali.
Well, like I said, so I mean, it's definitely more fruits, vegetables. Yeah. They of course have rice. They have noodles, and like I said, egg with everything. There will always be an egg with anything you eat.
That's typically an Indonesian thing, or I mean, just putting an egg on.
Yeah, well, it's kind of cost. Cost friendly.
You're getting a protein. If somebody's asking, is schooling free?
I really don't know. It's another question I'll find out for you though. I don't think so because I think if it was free, there wouldn't be as much poverty, and there's a lot of people who are they can speak their language or even English, but their grammatical skills aren't very good. Like their writing isn't very good, even in their language. So, Jennifer, thank you again for your question. Did you feel safe at most times? Question mark. Easier for a man, I guess. I've had a couple of experiences where I've felt kind of in danger. Never in Bali. One of them was I was in the Philippines, and this homeless guy tried to fight me one time, but I wasn't really too concerned about his fists hitting me. His leg was like the size of an elephant leg, and he had a hole in his shin like this big. And every time he took a step, he would have maggots falling out of his leg. So I was more worried about his leg touching me more than his hands attacking me. But to be honest, that's really probably the worst case scenario that I've experienced so far. Maybe it is because I am a man. I really don't know. I'll have to get my girlfriend on here. She's a solo backpacker, so maybe she can have her own travel talk and speak about how it is to travel solo as a woman.
Yeah, that would be interesting for sure. Any other questions? So we're really excited about Colombia, and we'll have to just chat, fairly soon about a June talk. So we'll just back into it whenever you're there for the wedding.
Yeah,
we'll just get back into it, and we're really looking forward to that.
It's gonna be great. Do you want me to call you or email you when I get back?
Yeah, you whatever. I'll probably shoot you. You shoot me the dates, and then we'll pick one that works.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, well now it's 12 o'clock. I'm gonna go set up my cameras, and we are going to travel to Costa Rica,
Awesome.
but sort of, in the same sort of hemisphere.
It is.
And a lot of food, a lot of similar kinds of foods. I'm sure you have plantains, or as plantains on the menu there in Colombia.
All the time. Fried plantains,
rice and beans,
patacones. Yep.
patacones. You have they call it a casado plate, but that's like your lunch plate basically. Yep. And a lot of people are eating for breakfast. They eat the same thing for breakfast. What is a typical breakfast like?
So it's, rice and beans with everything.
Corn tortillas.
It actually, it depends on the region that you're from. Yeah. Some regions have different breakfasts. Like if you're if you're a farmer, they have these ginormous plates of food because that's what they're going to be eating all day until they get back from the field. So
right.
It varies. Michelle, I can't wait for the Columbia Travel Talk. It's going to be sick.
All right. We're excited. Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your trip there. And thanks, Mom, for joining us.
Nice. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.